And Blizzard sued by New York City? Leaked Skull and Bones details. Embracer Group buys Crystal Dynamics. And Nintendo workplace issues. Extra, extra, hear all about it.
Hey guys, and welcome to the podcast that's always tired. I am the Dean of Games, the Dean Slater if you're on Twitter or Twitch, and joining me today is twitch.tv/LMJ the Hitman, Landen.
What up, y'all? He is right about the always tired, but I'm going to try to bring what energy I can today.
Yeah, I decided I'm going to start high, and then maybe I can just keep that momentum as long as possible.
Yeah, just slowly fizzle through the rest of the cast. Okay.
Oh, so how have you been?
Not so bad. I have good news that I have finally beat Resident Evil 4 in VR. And not only did I beat the game, I did all of the mercenaries, got all the stars in mercenaries, did all the challenges. Let's see. Made sure I got my experience out of it, and I am so in love with it. Like, I will probably not play it again, just move on so I can move on to other single player stuff, but I am so glad of what experience I got out of it. Probably one of the best VR experiences.
That's good.
Yeah, other than that, that's all I've been up to, really, doing that and day-to-day chores and work.
Believe me, I understand the whole computer debacle that I had been going through. I put me like 2 weeks behind on my chores, so I've had an extra amount of work to do. And it's not fun to do chores. Keep up on your chores, kids, because it's not fun to make up delayed chores.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, man. This is Extra Extra, your weekly gaming news podcast, covering the news leading up to Sunday, May 8th, 2022. And if you like us, you can go to patreon.com/thebriefingroom. Let us get to some news. So the first bit of news is that Square Enix sells all of its Western studios and IPs for $300 million.
That is so cheap. That's so cheap.
It's so cheap. And that's to the Embracer Group. So the studios that were included are Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal, although I don't think Square Enix Montreal is keeping that name, all things considered.
Good point.
And then IPs included are Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and the best game in the catalog, Gex. And will include more than 50 back catalog games.
Those Legacy of Kain games are great. I just want to say that the Tomb Raider franchise alone, I didn't even play 2 and 3, but I know they're good games. That franchise alone should have been worth the $300 million, if not more. Like, I can't believe they sold them off for as cheap as they did. I will not get over that.
I personally am wondering if, that for, the last 2 or 3 years, just about every game produced by one of their Western studios, Square has been like, oh, it underperformed. I wonder if this is something they've been planning, and they've been trying to devalue their Western studios and IP in order to sell it. Convince someone to sell it or buy it from them. Because, yeah, you talk about, those three studios and everything, but, like, Bungie, what did PlayStation pay for Bungie? Like, it was
Pretty sure
in the
it's a
billions.
bill, right? It was a 1 or 2 bill.
Yeah. Yeah. And Microsoft has bought studios for billions before. So, yeah, I think they didn't think that they could sell these, studios for that much. So I think maybe they've been trying to devalue the studios so that way they could sell them off. But that's just my thought.
Does this mean that Avengers is done? What's going on with Avengers now?
Oh, Avengers is going to be done one way or another.
Well, okay, that's fair enough. That it isn't going anywhere. But I mean, I wonder if they continue any like potential things they already had in the works or already done, but probably not going to release now. Or maybe, can they release now with it still being somewhat a Square Enix thing?
That's a good question. I'm wondering if they'll release things as far as like if they're contracted, under contract to do, certain characters. I wonder if they still do those certain characters just because that was what the contract was, and just fulfill out that contract before the license, ends or whatever. Yeah, that, as far as that's concerned, I have no idea. That's just something we'll have to play by ear. But this acquisition includes around 1,100 employees, and in those three studios, there are 8 locations around the world. And then Square Enix's press release about the deal says, this enables the launch of new businesses by moving forward with investments in the fields including blockchain, AI, and cloud. Going forward, the company's development function will comprise of its studios in Japan, Square Enix external studios, and the Square Enix Collective. The company's overseas studios will continue to publish franchises such as Just Cause, Outriders, and Life is Strange. So,
a lot.
Yeah. One thing I think is really, really funny is, they talked about and then doubled down on, their talk about wanting to look into NFTs in games, and then they did this deal, and it, like I said, it says including blockchain, and then literally, what was it, a day later, maybe, it might have been like 30 hours after, like something like that, the NFT market dropped 92%.
Damn. Wow.
I bet they're regretting that now.
I mean, probably.
It's just crazy to me that they're selling these studios and the IP.
Well, they did that. They did that with the Hitman people. IO Interactive, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I can't believe I got that
right.
But they basically they know that they're good studio. I feel like they probably could have done it in different ways. I guess at least the studio is still a whole studio. They're sold to another company, so they still have like structure, and that studio is gonna want a video game out of them. So, and that's what they do. So I'm sure the shift won't change that studio around too much. But I mean, I wonder if they had any inside sources on it, or if that studio just like woke up one day and they're like, "Oh, by the way, you're not with Square Enix anymore." I wonder what that's like.
I couldn't imagine. We definitely work for a company, and we won't have to worry about that. But like, you look at it. We're not talking about it in this episode, but another story about possible acquisitions is Warner Brothers Games is planning on selling their developers and licensing out their IP, which is basically, double dipping. And it just is weird to me, especially when they clearly are about the money when you talk about the blockchain,
Mm-hmm.
I know that I said that they devalued their studios to sell them, but, I think that was to get the money for them rather than take a gamble and have someone decide, nah, it's too expensive. But, yeah,
I was going to say, Square Enix still owns Outriders, right?
Yeah, they mentioned Outriders.
They still own that one?
Yeah, they said the company's overseas studios will continue to publish franchises such as Just Cause, Outriders, and Life is Strange. So they still have them, but they're smaller studios rather than bigger studios. So... yeah, it's just... This is an interesting one for me, because... it's just a weird thing.
Yeah, it is. It is a pretty weird, unique scenario. I didn't really expect to wake up and read that. Such a I don't know. I feel like the studio's made enough money for them to keep, so it kind of blindsided me. But you know, I think a lot of people are saying this right now. But a lot of these studios are just gonna start buying and selling and trading and doing all kinds of stuff for probably a while. So everybody wants to condense, and some people are trying to grow, and some people are trying to condense, and they're just kind of seeing a lot of trading going around.
Yeah. I saw a lot of talk that this move allows them to get bought by Sony, which I'm not ruling out, but for anyone that is excited for that, I would temper your expectations. There was a post by John Combs on Twitter, and it's a very good just thought about it. PlayStation has made it very clear that outside of some of the live service stuff that they're starting to get into, they are focused on big blockbuster games is their primary focus. And all of their exclusive deals that they've made with Square Enix have been on those big blockbuster games. But on a lot of their smaller games, Nintendo has been the people Square goes to. And so chances are, if Sony buys Square, you're not going to get those smaller games. More than likely, they're going to shift entirely to the big blockbuster games. So you're looking at, there might not be another, Octopath Traveler or, Triangle Strategy. Some of those smaller games that are really good, you might not get. You might still get, but just food for thought on anyone that's hoping.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be a downer, but there's a difference between being excited and just having unrealistic expectations. Okay. And of course, the next story I accidentally exited out of instead of this story because I'm an idiot.
Well, which story was that?
It was the hold on, I'm pulling up my history. I can get it real quick. It is the Activision Blizzard is being sued by New York City.
God damn it. Okay.
So this lawsuit is because the shareholders claim that Bobby Kotick agreed to take over in a bid to escape liability and accountability. That's what they're accusing, they're suing over, is that this is all so he can escape liability and realize his bonuses. Which we've talked about before. Yeah, he's going to get the parachute when he's pushed out of the plane. But, all right, so let me just read what I have here.
Go for it.
The lawsuit was filed on April 26th by New York City's Employees Retirement System and Pension Funds for the city's firefighters, police force, and teachers. The plaintiffs who own Activision Blizzard stock filed the lawsuit in a bid to gain access to the corporate books and records, because, Activision Blizzard isn't famous for, destroying records in the first place. They originally began seeking access after the lawsuit by the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing. And they were seeking to determine what Kotick knew about the misconduct as a pretext to suing him. For devaluing the company and thus their stocks. And then afterwards, Microsoft started talks to purchase Activision Blizzard, and the rest is history as far as that goes. Yeah, it's bad. There's something that needs to be hidden when the stockholders are like, hey, we want to see the books, and they're like, nah, you're not seeing the books.
Oh, man, yeah. That guy, I'm pretty sure already was going to happen before this story, but with this story, Bobby, as soon as Xbox acquires Activision, there's no way that dude stays. It would look so bad. It'll look so bad. The dude's done. He's gone. There's no way. There's too much shit that he's getting in, he is being tagged in and referenced to, and bad shit just keeps popping up with that dude's name on it. They need to just, done. The dude's done. There's no way.
Yeah, no, I figured they were going to get rid of him as soon as they complete the acquisition, but I don't know that this is going to do anything about him getting the parachute. The only thing I could see is between this and then the FTC looking at the purchase. Excuse me. Between this and the FTC looking at the purchase right now as far as antitrust, I wonder if this affects the purchase, and if it affects the purchase, does he just stay? If Microsoft is turned down from completing the purchase, does Kotick go, all right, I'm going to step down and just take my lumps, or is he just going to be like, no, I'm going to keep my position. Why wouldn't I?
Good question. Yeah, hopefully, Microsoft just continues with that acquisition and just goes through.
Yeah, that's
ideal situation.
I have no, doubt that it'll go through, just because if our government's going to allow Disney to buy fucking Fox, even with Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard, they are still not going to be number one in terms of game value in the gaming space. Tech space, they would be number one because they have been number one for so long, but it only moves them up to third place behind Sony and what is it, NetEase or whatever, the Chinese company.
Tencent?
Tencent, that's it, yeah. They're going to be number 3 behind those two as far as overall money in the gaming space. So, as far as in the gaming space, it's not going to be antitrust because they're not even number 1. But yeah, just with this lawsuit added on to the FTC, like that does add a little bit of doubt in my mind, but I don't know. I want this to just move forward so they can just kick him out. And yeah, he's gonna have his parachute and he's gonna land safely or whatever, but no one's going to trust any company that he goes to in the gaming space, at least. Now, this story has been very much, there's been some national, headlines to it, but for the most part, this has stayed in the gaming area, so he could go to, go to Hollywood and, become an executive in Hollywood, no problem. Because no one will really know his name. But yeah, there's no way anyone in gaming takes this guy after he's gone.
There's no way.
Now, theoretically, he has enough money, he could just sit the rest of his life and not even take another job anywhere, but...
Well, he can go disappear into the void then.
I'd be fine with that. You know what else should disappear into the void?
What's that?
Skull and Bones.
That's a pretty good transition, sir.
So, there's a leaked Skull and Bones video that provides an overview of what the game currently looks like. Apparently it's set in a world inspired by the Indian Ocean during the golden age of piracy. You're an underdog whose goal is to become the most infamous pirate to sail the seas, so aka One Piece, but discount One Piece, I would say.
Discount One Piece, yeah. I don't understand how this game can exist with the fucking Xbox game that rare game. What's it called? Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I've never really played it, but I just know that is a more pirate boat action game that's already been around, that has tons of limit. If you've never played that game, there's so much you can do in there. I don't understand how this Skull and Bones could possibly exist with that already being out there.
Yeah, and now granted, Sea of Thieves, when they released, it was content light, but they've definitely improved it, and so no matter what, you're not gonna have the quality, like you said, of Sea of Thieves. And didn't they decide that they were going to make this live service also or something? Is that something I'm remembering correctly?
At this point, they probably should. I mean, it could be live service, or it could be like For Honor. For Honor's still going strong. That game came out in 2016, and there's 6 years in, that game has still got consistent content, constant things going on, events. Like, people play that game. I don't know who, but people play that game.
Okay, so in February, Ubisoft said that the game would be coming out March 31st, 2023. Which, if this is that close, I don't know. Like, this game still looks like a work in progress, if I'm being honest. And that the title is now multiplayer first. So yeah, I would say live service. And, with live service games, they're tough, because you need to have a lot of content right out the gate, because people will consume all of the content faster than you can put it out. So people will still be going more towards Sea of Thieves than this game, simply because it won't have the, like you said, the amount of content that Sea of Thieves does.
Yeah, you're gonna drop day one with no content. I just don't have any faith in it. I got nothing but negative things about that game.
I know, that's why when I saw that story, I was like, I know how Landen feels about this. Do I want to choose violence today?
You chose violence, sir. You for sure
I chose violence.
Just let that game die. Go focus on something. Make a pirate single-player game. That's what people would probably rather have.
Put it in the pile with the rest of your vaporware, Ubisoft.
Is the pirate theme really even strong right now? Like, we know now, confirmed, there will be no Jack Sparrow moving forward, so Johnny Depp is done.
Yeah.
Pirate theme is just dead right now. Zombie theme is kind of dead right now. I say that, but Dying Light is selling pretty strong. Dying Light 2. But, I don't know. Maybe I say that, and they're going to drop this game, and despite what I'm saying, all this negative shit, it'll still be a huge success somehow.
Things come in waves, and sometimes, like, just completely incidentally. Like, what is it, Sekiro and, what's the other one? There were two feudal Japan games.
Nio?
Do it?
No, that's not feudal Japan. You talking about Ghost of Tsushima?
Ghost of Tsushima, thank you. Yeah, Sekiro and Ghost of Tsushima both came out within, like, a year of each other. And, like, this, Skull and Bones was announced the same year as Sea of Thieves. And, like, all this other stuff. Like, just completely incidentally, like, we'll go through waves of different things. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I just don't know. It's... what is Ubisoft doing, really? Like, I can't think... this entire time I've been trying to think of... we know that we're not getting a Assassin's Creed for a while.
Or a Far Cry. They just dropped one.
Or a Far Cry.
The Far Cry sold well, but Assassin's Creed, they're supposedly working on a live service. Yeah, live service Assassin's Creed game, which I don't know. We'll see what's going on with that, but that may be a good thing. That one's a kind of a coin toss to me.
But it's still definitely far away.
Yes. I mean, what else they got going on?
But they have Just Dance, but like I feel like they've been getting diminishing returns on that franchise for a while.
How about a Splinter Cell? That's what I need. But there's no word on one. So like, what do they got coming out? Like, what are they working on?
See, I don't know. They have all this vaporware, like I mentioned, where they've announced like so many games. They have a list of so many games they've announced and never talked about again. And this was one of those. And then I guess they're like, oh, we should put that out. But I don't know what they're doing at Ubisoft. I guess I can't think of one thing that's coming out this year that Ubisoft is doing. But it's not even really fully theirs. And that's Mario plus Rabbids, the second one.
Oh, yeah.
That's coming out sometime within the next year or year and a half. I think it's this year, though. So, that's the only thing I can think of. And I had to think about it. And like I said, it's not really even theirs. They're making it, and it has their Rabbids franchise. But let's face it, people are not buying it for the Rabbids.
For sure. But it still sells well.
Yeah. Oh, I'll definitely be getting it. It looks interesting. It looks like it's less turn-based from what I remember seeing in the trailer. Which would be interesting. But yeah, man, Ubisoft, get your shit together.
I agree. Yeah.
You're not as bad as Activision, but you're not terribly far off. You're turning into let's just release Assassin's Creed. Let's move all of our
Turn it into EA.
all of our yeah. Oh boy. So. Oh yeah. I have two mice and I grabbed the wrong one. Okay, here we go. So our next story, our final story, is one we covered, 3 weeks ago or something? We covered it fairly recently, but this is more details on it. Nintendo contractors criticize company culture and treatment. So this was mentioned, like I said, a few weeks ago. Essentially, the way Nintendo, I guess, used to do things is, instead of crunching, what they would do is, if they had a specific amount of work they needed to get done in a time frame, they would contract that work out, so that way they wouldn't need to crunch. They would just add, essentially add warm bodies instead of adding time in office. But apparently within the last, I think people are saying it started changing in 2015, so the last 7 years or so, contractors are saying that they're doing the work of the full-timers, but getting paid and treated worse. And so basically, instead of just contracting out for help when needed, these companies are just always contracted, regardless of whether the help is needed or not. And they have to... so let's see. Let me actually read from the story a little bit. One source said a death in the family forced her to return home partway through an interview for a full-time position, which led to her interviewer for a full-time position she was looking for, telling her that she had attendance issues. Which, yikes.
Okay.
I had a job where someone had their father die, and he told his manager, "Hey, my dad died. I need such and such day off." And the manager said, the manager told him, requests off are done 2 weeks in advance. And it's like, it's not like he knew 2 weeks ahead of time that his dad was going to die, motherfucker. What an asshole.
Oh my god, dude. That's a messed up story.
But that's retail for you. Not that it's better or anything, but it's, industries need to change in general. Actually, before we continue, I saw a lot of this sentiment online, and I need to talk to our audience for a second. All right, come here, audience. I want to look at you face to face. You in the back, come on. All right, close your eyes. Just picture whatever your image of my gorgeous face is. Just picture that and look deep into that face's eyes. When I tell you, if you're one of those people that say, "Oh, this happens in every industry," as a way to dismiss these criticisms, let me tell you, that's why these criticisms exist. Like, just because it exists in every industry does not mean that it needs to or should. That is the point of speaking out and trying to cause change. It's not that fucking hard to understand.
It's really
Quit
not.
Quit defending these big companies. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. all these big companies and all these managers that don't give a fuck can just die in a hole somewhere off on the side of the road. Yeah. I think there was one episode I said Bobby Kotick needs to fall down a well. Yeah, all these people need to be pushed down wells, if I'm being honest. All right. So let's go back. So Nintendo itself reported a turnover of 4.7 as of last year, as full-time employees commonly stay for years or even decades. However, contractors commonly exit the company in less than a year. And then there are things that they've done recently that have not gone well. Like, there's a story we didn't cover. It might have been just before we did our podcast. But they decided to shutter their Redwood office. And all the people that were working from home, they said, you gotta figure your shit out and find a way to come into the office or whatever. Let's see. Here we go. Here's what I was talking about. The sense I got was that a lot of people were working from home successfully. Then Nintendo closed the Redwood City office and said, none of you can stay in California. You have to move here or leave. Which was Washington is where they wanted them to move to. But yeah, I think we all feel, including James, we all on this podcast feel very strongly about the need to change things. Mostly because we have, like we said, we work for a larger corporation, and we have, not naming names or anything, we have a manager that does not treat people well. So we've had that experience ourselves, and it's not right. People should not feel threatened where they work.
You spend so much time. Yeah, like we were just about to say, you spend so much time there. Like, everybody, including that person, needs to have, that person in charge needs to just chill and everybody have a good day.
Because if you think about it, there's 24 hours in a day. You spend 8 hours at work. You're spending almost a third of your life at work. Why would you think people would want to feel like shit for 1/3 of their entire life? It's just, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. No, it really doesn't. And it's not how you get results either.
No, yeah, your employees, if you treat your employees like shit, you get less out of them. And it doesn't take that much effort to, even if they're not a good employee, it does not take that much effort to be like, all right, listen, you're doing this, and we can't have that. You need to change, and if you can't change, then we're going to have to find other solutions. But you can address it in a more positive, kinder way than, just, they're fucking shit, just, and you treat everyone equally. Don't be like, all right, they're just women. They can just do whatever women things they do, and we can just check them out. No, they're there to work too. Just fuck off with this. Let's defend companies that make billions off of you. What was it? It was Bobby Kotick made like $500,000 or something per dollar that his employees are making. It was something astronomical like that. I'd have to look it up, which we don't have time on the podcast for. But yeah, just pay your employees well, treat them well, you get more production out of them. I don't understand how this is a hard concept for these corporations.
Really shouldn't be.
All right, well, if you like, or even if you didn't like this podcast, because we were very negative on this podcast today.
Yeah. I guess high energy for us means high energy being tired is angry.
Yeah. But make sure to do all the things like hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and hitting the bell on youtube.com/the XofPlays, or giving it a high rating on whatever podcast service you use, so you can find like-minded people. I brought it up before, but on patreon.com/thebriefingroom, you can financially support the show, get cool rewards, and more. That's all from us. Take care.
See ya.